It happened. The sun has moved into Sagittarius, and from this point forward, you need to pay closer attention than ever. This shift isn't small, and most people don't realize how quickly Sagittarius energy reveals what and who has been hiding in plain sight. Here's the truth. This season won't let you rescue everyone, not even the people you've trusted for years. Something is about to come to the surface, and once you notice it, you can't pretend you didn't. Stay alert. Sagittarius is about to expose someone you never imagined would be revealed. And Sagittarius doesn't reveal energy gently. It strikes fast, like a single spark that turns dry branches into a wildfire. Every connection that's been quietly draining you, Sagittarius sets it ablaze. Someone around you has been depending on your silence, your patience, your strength. And now their real intentions start slipping through the cracks, not through fights, but through truth they can no longer hide. This isn't punishment. This is protection. So release the guilt. Release the responsibility. This shift is happening for you, not against you. Because there's a particular type of person Sagittarius exposes instantly, the ones who know exactly what's right for them but choose the opposite direction, on purpose. They're not lost, they're not confused, they're intentionally misaligned. And every time you try to save them, you don't help them grow. You interrupt the lesson life is trying to give them. This is the person who claims they want peace, yet keeps chasing chaos. Someone who asks for clarity but ignores every truth you tell them, because clarity requires accountability. Sagittarius energy makes their patterns impossible to ignore. You'll see it in their mismatched words and actions, in the way they agree with advice they never follow, in how they always have an excuse for avoiding the very thing their soul is urging them to do. And here's the hard truth. Rescuing someone from their own choices also rescues them from their own growth. When you shield someone who refuses to align with themselves, you delay the moment their karma finally teaches them what they need to learn. You pick up a burden that was never yours, carrying weight they were supposed to transform. They don't need you to save them. They need space. Space to feel the consequences of their choices. Space for discomfort to push them into evolution. Space to face the reality they keep running from. And Sagittarius doesn't hide any of this. It amplifies it. It becomes obvious who you've been helping out of love and who you've been helping simply out of habit. And once you see who's misaligned by choice, you start noticing something even deeper. The individuals who not only misalign themselves, but throw others off balance too. These are the people Sagittarius exposes with painful clarity, the ones whose presence shifts the whole atmosphere, not because they're strong, but because their energy is unstable. The quiet instigators, the subtle agitators, the ones who always spark conflict, confusion, or drama without ever taking responsibility for the chaos that follows them. You know them, the friend who shares concerns but is really gossiping, the person who always has a new argument, a new crisis, a new emotional fire they expect you to put out. And the worst part? They often look calm on the surface, but chaos surrounds them like a shadow, consistent, predictable, unavoidable. Helping them doesn't uplift them. It pulls you deeper into their storm. When you enter someone's chaos, you start fighting battles that were never yours. Their emotional instability leaks into your intuition. Your clarity fades. Your peace becomes fragile. Even your body feels it. The heaviness, the tension, the subtle discomfort you can't quite explain. Sagittarius refuses to let that continue. It shines a spotlight on the people who disrupt your emotional and spiritual balance while refusing to fix their own. You'll notice how drained or confused you feel after interacting with them. That's not random, that's energetic interference. And helping them only tangles you deeper in their web. But Sagittarius doesn't just expose others, it exposes you, specifically the people who react to your growth before you even recognize it yourself. Because Sagittarius is expansion. And when this energy arrives, something in you begins to rise, elevate, stretch. You may think it's subtle, but opportunistic people sense it instantly. They can smell your growth like a new scent in the room, strong, undeniable. These are the individuals who suddenly become supportive once they notice your energy shifting, your confidence increasing, your path unfolding. They weren't there when you were stuck. They didn't check on you when you felt lost. They didn't clap when you had nothing. But the second they sense momentum, they reappear. Perfect timing. Sagittarius makes their motives crystal clear. They don't want your journey. They want access to the results of your journey. And it doesn't always look like someone begging for money or favors. Sometimes it's the friend who only calls when you're glowing, the acquaintance who suddenly seeks advice, the person who treated you casually but now watches you closely because they can feel you leveling up. Opportunists approach not because they believe in you, but because your rise highlights their stagnation. Being near you makes them feel relevant, even if they refuse to evolve themselves. And during Sagittarius season, allowing these people into your inner circle becomes a trap. While you're expanding, they'll try to use your growth as a shortcut for their own. They don't want to climb, they want a free ride. But your journey isn't meant to carry passengers who refuse to walk. So remember, protection is key, not isolation, not dimming your light, just awareness. Awareness of sudden interest, awareness of intentions, awareness of who actually supports your rise and who just wants to stand close to the glow, because Sagittarius marks the beginning of a new chapter. And as you elevate, it becomes easier to see who wants to rise with you and who only wants the rewards of standing next to you. This season exposes something impossible to ignore. Your growth is attracting attention, but not all attention is aligned. Sagittarius is ruled by fire, motion, passion, bold momentum, and these flames reveal the people who only show up when life is exciting. These are the ones who celebrate your wins loudly, but disappear the moment you're healing, resting, or rebuilding. Sagittarius exposes them because your highs reveal their selective loyalty. They're not attached to you, just to the benefits of being near you. Some people are drawn to your spark, not your soul. They love the version of you that fires them up, entertains them, inspires them. But they make no effort to understand the version of you that grows quietly, rests deeply, or feels fully human. They want your intensity, not your authenticity. And the biggest mistake you can make during this season is trying to help someone who only values your flame. Anyone who admires your glow but ignores your shadows is not aligned with where your spirit is going. Sagittarius teaches that real connection isn't proven during exciting moments. It's revealed in the still ones. The people who vanish when life gets calm are not people you're meant to uplift. They were never planning to stay. Once the spark stopped entertaining them, they want the storyline, not the truth. The rush, not the meaning. The adventure, not the anchor. Supporting these individuals drains you because you end up performing just to keep their attention. You start offering more than you should, shaping yourself into the version of you they approved of. But that version was never real. It's not who you are when everything quiets and you're left with your inner work, your healing, your reflection. Sagittarius isn't punishing you. It's liberating you. It shows you who can stand beside you when life is vibrant and when it's still. It exposes who values you as a person, not as a source of motivation, entertainment, or energy. And once you see who only shows up for the fire, you won't be able to unsee it. There's another group Sagittarius season uncovers in a completely different way. These aren't toxic people. They're not manipulative. They're not intentionally harmful. Yet they leave you exhausted every single time you're around them. These aren't the villains of your story. Often, they're the kindest, gentlest ones in your life. And that's exactly why this revelation catches you off guard. Sagittarius doesn't reveal them through chaos. It reveals them through insight. These individuals carry a quiet, emotional dependency. They lean on your presence more than they realize. Your comfort, your steadiness, your emotional grounding becomes their safety net. They don't intend to drain you. They simply haven't learned how to stand on their own yet, so your energy becomes their anchor. You may notice that being around them feels heavy in a way you can't explain, like an invisible weight on your chest or shoulders. Even if the conversation is soft, something feels off. Sagittarius heightens your internal compass. Suddenly, you're more tired around certain people, even when nothing dramatic happened. You feel restless in conversations that aren't even difficult. You catch your mind wandering or your patience thinning, not because you're annoyed, but because your energy can no longer pretend it's comfortable. This season doesn't increase your sensitivity in a mystical way. It sharpens it in a practical one. You simply can't overlook how someone makes your spirit feel anymore. And here's the truth most people never say out loud. Not every draining person is a bad person, but they can still drain you into becoming a version of yourself you've already outgrown. These individuals often circle the same emotional patterns. They come to you with fear, confusion, or uncertainty again and again, but they never apply the guidance you give them. You become the well, and they're endlessly thirsty. Sagittarius shines a light on what's been there all along. You've grown, but they haven't caught up. And because they're stuck, they unconsciously keep you in a role that no longer fits who you are. They're not malicious, they just don't know how to generate their own strength yet. This season isn't telling you to cut them out, but it is reminding you not to become someone's permanent energy source. You don't owe anyone your emotional exhaustion just to make them feel secure. You're allowed to take a step back from people who drain you without meaning to. You're allowed to choose your peace over their dependency. And once Sagittarius reveals this dynamic, something else becomes obvious. Your independence is rising, and not everyone is ready for that shift. Sagittarius represents freedom, movement, confidence, and self-direction. As this energy arrives, something in you naturally expands. You start trusting yourself more deeply, relying on yourself more fully, and stepping into your power with greater certainty. What people don't expect is how strongly others react to that transformation, especially the ones who are comfortable with the older version of you. There are people who felt secure when you doubted yourself. Sagittarius exposes them quickly. As you grow more self-reliant, they feel unsettled. As you find direction, they feel directionless. As your boundaries strengthen, their influence weakens, and instead of celebrating your evolution, their energy shifts. They may become distant, guilt-tripping, passive-aggressive, or overly emotional, not because they're losing you, but because they're losing control over the version of you that made them feel needed. Sagittarius pushes you to evolve, while some people try to pull you back. They subtly tug you toward old roles. The caretaker, the savior, the listener, the reliable one who never questioned their needs. They were comfortable when you were uncertain because it made them feel important. Now that you're rising, they're forced to confront their own insecurities. This season exposes a difficult truth. People who fear your independence weren't supporting your growth. They were supporting their position in your life. They're not cheering your expansion because your expansion means they can no longer rely on you to stay small. They may not say it, but they'll act it, questioning your decisions, discouraging your ideas, or telling you you're changing too much. But you are not responsible for shrinking to keep someone else comfortable. Sagittarius reminds you that your growth isn't a threat, it's your liberation. Helping people who feel threatened by your evolution only keeps you tied to versions of yourself you've already surpassed. You're done dimming your power to maintain someone else's comfort zone. The people who can't handle your independence reveal themselves now, and recognizing them is what moves you into your next level. Because after everything Sagittarius exposes, the misaligned, the opportunists, the energy disruptors, the ones who cling to your old identity, there's a shift. This season isn't meant to isolate you, it's meant to refine your circle. It clears the noise so you can finally recognize the people who are truly aligned with your path. Sagittarius doesn't just show you who drains you, it highlights the ones who elevate you. These are the individuals who don't pull from your energy. They match it. They're not intimidated by your growth. They're inspired by it. They don't shrink your ideas. They expand them. They don't fear your vision. They help you build it. These are the people doing their own inner work. They don't expect you to carry them, fix them, or guide them through life. They're on their own path, facing their challenges, learning their lessons, healing their wounds. It doesn't matter how far along they are. What matters is that they take responsibility for their journey. Sagittarius amplifies this kind of energy. You'll feel the difference immediately. Their presence feels light. Their conversation feels natural. Your intuition feels clearer. Your spirit feels supported. Real alignment doesn't drain you. It harmonizes with you. These are the people you can pour into, not because they need you to survive, but because the exchange is mutual, balanced, uplifting. They listen, they apply, they grow, and being around them doesn't cost you your energy, it restores it. They grow with you, not by depending on you to grow for them. Being there for these people doesn't feel like sacrifice, it feels like alignment. And as Sagittarius season unfolds, these souls naturally move closer because you finally created space by stepping back from those who weren't in harmony with your spirit. The moment you stop trying to save people who are committed to their own chaos, life immediately redirects you toward the ones committed to their evolution. And supporting these people doesn't drain you, it expands you. This season shows you something powerful. Helping the right souls isn't a burden, it's a blessing. And that lesson prepares you for the biggest shift of all. Because when the right people begin to show up, Sagittarius delivers its final gift. Once you stop giving your energy to the wrong ones, the right ones finally have room to enter. Most people misunderstand this. Letting go of misaligned connections isn't losing anything, it's clearing space. And Sagittarius energy, with its raw honesty and fierce independence, makes sure you see that reality without confusion. When you release the ones who drain you, the ones who fear your freedom, the ones who only show up for excitement, and the ones who refuse to evolve, you create an energetic vacuum that life instantly fills. Suddenly, new people take interest in your vision. Old connections return with genuine maturity. Unexpected opportunities align perfectly with your growth. Your path becomes lighter, not because the journey changed, but because you're no longer carrying people who weren't built to walk beside you. And these new connections, they're different, they're steady. They move in rhythm with you, not in resistance. They amplify your growth without competing with it. They honor your independence instead of feeling threatened by it. They celebrate your highs, sit with you through your lows, and respect the space you need to evolve. These aren't people who pull you backward. They move beside you. And Sagittarius wants you to finally recognize the difference. You're not being punished for setting boundaries. You're being prepared to welcome the people who are meant for your future. Sagittarius rewards courage. It rewards expansion. It rewards the soul who chooses clarity over chaos, authenticity over attachment, and growth over guilt. Even if you have to walk alone for a moment, that solitude becomes the filter that reveals who truly belongs in your life. And when the aligned ones arrive, the people who match your frequency, respect your boundaries, and support your freedom, you realize something life-changing. Letting go was never a sacrifice. It was your initiation. Sagittarius doesn't take from you. It clears the path so the right people and the right experiences can finally find you. But there's another layer to this season, one Sagittarius refuses to let you avoid. It's the role so many awakened souls fall into without noticing: the spiritual savior. Not the loud, ego-driven kind, the subtle, identity-based one, the version of you that learned early on that your worth came from how much you could carry for others. You became the fixer, the stabilizer, the emotional anchor, the reliable one who always knew how to clean up the mess. And even with all the spiritual growth you've done, that old identity still hides in the background. Sagittarius exposes this because it's a sign that refuses to let you shrink into roles you've outgrown. You start noticing how quickly you jump to soothe someone, guide someone, or take responsibility for the emotional atmosphere around you. It feels automatic, instinctual, like every room's balance depends on you. But then comes the moment of truth. You're not helping because it's aligned. You're helping because it's familiar. The savior role is deceptive. It convinces you that saying yes makes you good, that helping everyone is your duty, that if someone is struggling, you're supposed to step in. But Sagittarius forces you to confront the truth. If your identity depends on being needed, you will attract people who need you, not people who value you. This is where the addiction shows up. When you're used to saving everyone, their dependence becomes your validation. You don't realize it, but each time someone leans on you, a part of you feels important. So when you finally pull back, the guilt hits, not because you're doing something wrong, but because your self-worth has been tied to being the hero. But the savior role is a cage. It surrounds you with people who expect you to carry the emotional load, leaving no room for your own expansion. It keeps you in low-frequency patterns disguised as kindness. It drains you under the illusion of spiritual purpose. Sagittarius pushes you to understand the difference between helping someone because it elevates you and helping because you're afraid of what will happen if you don't. If you've watched all the way through, thank you. If the message resonated, feel free to subscribe and stay connected. Share your experiences in the comments. I'd love to hear them. And until next time, take care and stay tuned for more.